Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, so welcome all of you. Again, it's a Saturday. You all have taken time. You all came back here. So we are very thankful to all of you. And we had a good session yesterday. I hope you could remember something from that. But if you could not, then we can just go for a quick revision. Before that, we'll have small prayers and then we'll begin. Shri Krishna Okay, so yesterday we were looking into the types of gaining knowledge. Of course, we saw the three: Pratyaksha Praman, the direct sense perception, Anuman Praman, and Shabda Praman. Okay, so now let me ask you, what is the problem with Pratyaksha Praman? Pratyaksha means direct sense perception. That means whatever I see or whatever I can perceive through my senses, that's what I believe. So, what is the problem with Pratyaksha Praman? What did we discuss yesterday? Okay, imperfect senses, yes, Panchadeep, imperfect senses. So, because the senses are not perfect, whatever we perceive from those senses also unlikely to be perfect. Yes, what else? Sinchan, very good. Blind man, elephant example, we saw that how because they're blind, their eyes are not working, and then to be illusioned, yes. So because their eyes, they are just perceiving from their touch, and that's why they are just giving some speculation on how what the elephant look like. But if there is a person with eyes come and tell them, then that is the best way of getting knowledge, even though they could not perceive by their own, but because the person with eyes have seen and told them, that would be considered as more authentic. And yes, as mentioned, tendency to be illusioned, it is there with everybody. We saw some examples of optical illusion yesterday, and of course some of the examples like refraction, like mirage, etc., they tell that we have tendency to be illusion. And that's why Pratyaksha Pramana is one of the good ways, but that is not the best way of gaining knowledge. And then we went into Anuman Praman. Okay, so what is the problem with Anuman Praman or speculation? What happens if we go with speculation, Anuman Praman? And please remember, Anuman Praman does not mean you just, it's not like somebody out of fantasy starts speaking something. It is also based on some basic knowledge. So it is also one way of gaining knowledge. Okay, this is not like completely wrong or absurd. No, it is also a good way. And only people who are having good knowledge only can speculate. With no knowledge, you can't even speculate. Okay. So, but what is the problem with Anuman Praman? Something we discussed yesterday. Anyone remembers? So there are a lot of frauds which can happen. because the knowledge is not again perfect. It's under speculation. Today you told something, tomorrow it may change. Somebody else may come up with something new. So a lot of speculation. Speculation does not lead us to a good way of knowledge. It is not very authentic. Of course, it is one way, but this is not the best way, because there is always chance of revision and what you speculate becoming wrong over the time. We have so many examples. This Darwin's theory we discussed yesterday and the loopholes associated. So there's no problem in doing research. There's no problem in guessing. But sometimes when the motive is not good, motive is selfishness, it ends up harming people, because speculation consists of incomplete knowledge, and incomplete knowledge or half knowledge is dangerous. So we took some of the examples of how some of the solutions which we think or science thinks have become a bigger problem over the time. We took examples of chlorofluorocarbons or freons. We took example of what other example did we take yesterday? One is to become as a coolant, but they started harming the ozone layer and it became a problem. Like that, there are many examples which were initially where there was some solutions. Like I told you one example of endosulfan tragedy in this area. Yes, Chetan, thank you. So endosulfan initially was thought of a solution, but later it became a bigger problem and people are still suffering and fighting. So, and we have used nuclear weapons. They look solution to one thing, but they become problem when used for, and generations of people have to suffer for it. So half knowledge is dangerous. We need absolute knowledge, and we understand that only Pratyaksha and Anuman Pramad are not capable of giving us the best knowledge, like this one video we saw yesterday. So where is that manual that can explain us the key to happiness? And this is what we are going to start from today. So anyone has any questions or comments from the last class? Anything you want to ask? Or else we'll start from today's topic. Okay, so these are two friends talking. And one of them say, just see, my dear friend, how 4 defects keeps us blind to the truth. So how many of you remember those 4 defects? Yes, one person has told to be illusioned, other person told, one of you was told about imperfect senses. What are the other 2 defects? We discussed 4 defects, which makes Pratyaksha Pramana less authentic. So what are the 4 defects? Yes, who will tell me what are the 4 defects? Tendency to commit mistakes. Yes, Dhananjay. So this is the 3rd one we saw, to be illusioned. Cheating. Thank you, Dhananjay. Okay. So these are the 4 defects: to be illusioned, to commit mistake, cheating propensity, and imperfect senses. So he's telling, just see, my dear friend, how 4 defects keeps us blind to the truth. Is there no other way than Pratyaksha or Anuman to know the complete truth that is free from all danger? And yes, the answer comes Shabda Praman, hearing from a bona fide authority. So now you can think of that example of elephant, where a bona fide authority who has seen has told the truth, even though they were perceiving it wrong. But because this person has seen and they heard from a realized person, they got the perfect knowledge. They actually understood how the elephant looks like. And then they can use their Pratyaksha Pramana to practically understand. But initially you have to hear. And actually all of us believe this. That's why initially, before going into practicals, you have theory classes. There you learn. You understand something about it, and then you go into practical. That's why in our medical science, we hear one very famous line from our professors, and they used to say, Your eyes cannot see what your brain doesn't know. Your eyes cannot see what your brain doesn't know. That's why you need theory classes, and your brain need to know first. Then only when you go in front of the person, you can see what illness they have or what problems they have. Otherwise, even though the person is there in front of you, you will not be able to understand what is the problem. That's why Shabda Pramana is the most authoritative and the first one to consider. And later, the knowledge can be substantiated by Pratyaksha or Anuma. So we should not say, I want to see God first and then only I'll believe. No, first you understand about Him. You get the knowledge. Okay. So this is what is from Bhagavad Gita, where in Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashtah parantapa. So you have to get it into parampara. Evam parampara praptam. This gyan, this knowledge has come into the disciplic succession. Imam rajarshayo vidhu. Hey Rajarshi, please hear. So how can a child know, for example, how can a child know who is his father? How do you tell? How a child know who is his father? He knows his mother. Mother is always with him, but father comes later. How can a child know who is his father? What do you think? Yes, you can tell your answers. So there are many ways. Now, if somebody is from science or who see movies, they'll say he can do DNA testing, not DNA fingerprinting. But even for DNA fingerprinting, you need to know some probable candidates who are claiming to be his father. Otherwise, you cannot do DNA testing on everybody. If you feel it will take hundreds and hundreds of years to do DNA testing on everybody and find out who is father. So even for that, you need some probable candidates, and that has to be told by mother. So the best way is to get the Shabda Praman, and the Shabda Pramana can be from, yes, Panchadeep, it has to be from his mother. Otherwise, if you check genes, it takes 800 years to identify 200 men who is likely to be your father. So this is the inductive knowledge. Inductive knowledge starts from me. I try to find out. Okay. Whereas there is a better way, which is a deductive knowledge, which descends from the authority. Okay. So mother says he's your father, and then that's done. Then that's easy. Or even if mother tells you 4 or 5 people, then among them you find out. But your tension goes off. Otherwise, your whole life will go into, who is my father, who is my father. And your purpose of existence will go off. So that's the simple example of how Shabda Pramana is the most authoritative. So for us, Vedas are like our mother and God is our supreme father. Now, who will tell us about our father? The Vedas, because they are like our mother. So they gives us knowledge. Harivardhan is telling the child is exchanged in hospital. Then you can say, okay, probably some few people were there at that time and delivered at the same time, and from them you can still find out. Then yes, what do you say? But there also you need Shabda Praman, because you need to find out from the hospital authority that who all were admitted there. Or you need to find out from staff nurse that at that time, how many of them were in labor and how many mothers are delivered at that time. And from them, you can do some DNA testing and find out. So you still need Shabda Pramana, some people to tell you. Anyways, so Vedas can give us GK, not just general knowledge, but God knowledge.
The Vedas, however, are not as well known for presenting historical and scientific knowledge as they are for expounding subtle sciences, such as the power of mantras. We all recognize the power of sound itself, by its effects, which can be quite dramatic. Here, a high-pitched frequency shatters a drinking glass. So, we can easily understand that loud sounds can produce substantial reactions. It is commonly believed that mantras can carry hidden power, which can in turn produce profound effects. The ancient Vedic literatures are full of descriptions of weapons being called by mantra. For example, many weapons were invoked by mantra during the epic Kurukshetra war, wherein the Bhagavad Gita itself was spoken. The ancient deployment of Brahmastra weapons, equivalent to modern-day nuclear weapons, are described throughout the Vedic literatures. Additionally, mantras carry hidden spiritual power which can produce significant benefits when chanted properly. Indeed, the Vedas themselves are sound vibrations in literary form and carry a profound message.
Yeah, so this is the power of mantras, and this is coming from scriptures. And now the scriptures have already given so many things, and now people are, or science is coming and trying to prove all that, and most of it or everything is getting proven correct. So this is what we had discussed yesterday. So what is the Vedic process of learning? Like, anytime you have to go and study, what do you look for? Like today, if you have to take admission or you're looking for a course, what all you look for? First thing is you want to look for an authorized college. If you go for a engineering college, you want to know whether it's affiliated to your AICTE. And if you have to go for a medical college, you want to know if it's affiliated to NMC or MCI. So you want to know first whether the college is authorized or not. So in Vedic system, it is known as parampara or sampradaya. Okay. Then what do you look for? Professors, whether there are good professors, whether they are qualified or not. What is their experience? So similarly, when it comes to Vedic knowledge, we have to look for a bona fide guru. Bona fide guru is the one, again, who is having a good knowledge. And a degree for a bona fide guru means whether he's coming into a parampara or not, who is his guru, and whether they are actually authorized or not. And what else comes? Authorized books. So like we need to see whether there are authorized book of that subjects in that place or not. And similarly, in Vedic scriptures, we look into authorized texts like Bhagavad Gita. So how the Vedic knowledge is advanced. See, they give so many ancient things. We have Ayurveda, we have Vimana Shastra.
University of California at Irvine, April 2017. Aerospace engineer Travis Taylor has obtained a model of an aircraft whose design specifications are based solely on information gleaned from ancient Indian texts that are believed to have been formally set to writing in 500 BC. He is going to subject it to wind tunnel analysis to determine if it is a viable flying machine. The aircraft model, created using details garnered from the ancient Indian texts, has proven to be flight-worthy. Is it possible that by studying the ancient Indian texts, we may be able to recreate advanced technology that existed thousands of years ago in India? Ancient astronaut theorists suggest that the texts may also contain details for advanced spacecraft.
So see, so many things are being investigated now, and it's all coming from scriptures. This is all already given in scriptures. So and see, so many predictions. You see, we hear about Chanakya, and it is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. 12th canto, first chapter, and even about Lord Buddha is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken 5,000 years back. And the and Chanakya we are seeing now in contemporary time. Emperor Ashoka, about Emperor Ashoka itself, it's given. It's given about Jesus Christ in Bhavishya Puran, about Prophet Muhammad in Bhavishya Puran, and about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has arrived 500 years back, but the description is already there in Mahabharata. So these are the things which actually prove how, it actually proves the importance of scriptures, and how authentic they are, because so many predictions are already given, which we are seeing now and getting proven now. So that's why Shabda Pramana is always considered as most superior. So how educated Indians were diverted from putting faith into Vedas. Now this is the special, conspiracy from the previous invaders of India, because they have realized that Indians, they are the most difficult people to penetrate because of their culture. And when they realized this, they understood that until and unless we don't penetrate their culture, we can never invade India. So they do two very bad things. One is they burnt lot of Vedas, lot of scriptures, so that the next generations will not have anything to refer. And then they tried to make Indians understand that Indian knowledge is bad and whatever foreign is good. So such kind of conspiracies over the years have been put in Indian mind, and we are still suffering from this and have an inferiority complex about our own things.
Early Indologists wished to control and convert the followers of Vedic culture. Therefore, they widely propagated that the Vedas were simply mythology. Max Mueller, perhaps the most well-known early Sanskritist and Indologist, although later in life he glorified the Vedas, initially wrote that the Vedas were worse than savage, and India must be conquered again by education. Its religion is doomed. Thomas Macaulay, who introduced English education into India, wanted to make the residents into a race that was Indian in blood and color, but English in taste, in opinion, in morals, and in intellect. However, the German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer stated that the Sanskrit understanding of these Indologists was like that of young schoolboys. These early Indologists devised the Aryan invasion theory, denying India's Vedic past. They taught that the English educational system is superior. They intentionally misinterpreted Sanskrit texts to make the Vedas look primitive. And they systematically tried to make Indians ashamed of their own culture. Thus, the actions of these Indologists seems to indicate that they were motivated by a racial bias.
So now you can understand how the conspiracy was being played, and we are becoming victims of that. But it's a responsibility of we young people to come out of this and understand our rich culture and propagate it as much as possible. And that's why this kind of sessions, this kind of knowledge is very, very important. And more important than that is for us to read our own scriptures, because until unless we don't read, we cannot speak about it. And that is the advantage which every other person takes, and then they prove us that we have read your scriptures and how they are wrong. So see, people like, this US congressman, Tulsi Gabbard, congresswoman, she is talking about...
Aloha and namaste. 2020 is certainly a year that will not soon be forgotten. For most, if not all of us, it has brought about many unexpected changes. The uncertainty that this year has brought has made me personally reflect upon the time that I spent deployed in the Middle East. That too was a time in my life when there was danger at every step. Each day brought new uncertainties, and likewise, many lives were lost. My shelter then and now has been the Bhagavad Gita, which means Song of God. The Bhagavad Gita spoken by Sri Krishna is full of transcendental wisdom that is as relevant today as it was 5,000 years ago when it was spoken. When we are blown here and there by the strong winds of change, when giant waves are crashing upon us, when we're feeling unsteady, lost, adrift, the Bhagavad Gita offers us guidance and hope. Looking at our problems through the prism of eternality, rather than merely identifying with our temporary material circumstances, gives us an anchor that offers great peace, purpose, and stability through even the most trying of times. May we always be blessed with remembrance of Sri Krishna, his unconditional love, and his transcendental appearance in this world. Jaya Shri Krishna.
Sorry. So see, people like her now, even people of such an cadre are actually understanding and trying to read Bhagavad Gita. And this video is of 2020. Now she has even more, she has a part in the government as well. But the important thing is, it's our duty to actually read our own scriptures. Because if we don't read, people will cheat us. And we will be responsible for that cheating. Because it's our duty to actually read and understand our scriptures properly. And we can say that why are we conducting such classes? So because we think that it's our responsibility that if we have understood something, we need to propagate. And same thing is expected from all of us. So it's important that first we read by joining such classes and by taking up the scriptures our home and trying to understand, applying and then propagating, because it is told that Bharat Bhumi te janma hai jar janma sarthak kari paropkar. It's a duty of every Indian to do this paropkar, help others with the gift of knowledge which is there already in our country, and the scriptures already belong to this country, this rich culture. So let's go ahead. See, if we accept axioms of science, then why can't we accept Vedic axioms? We have been, we have been designed like that now. Our brains have been designed in the way that if science says, okay, just when you start a maths theorem and you start to solve it, you hypothesize something initially. Let's think A is equal to this and B equal to this, and then we start. If you can accept axioms of science, then why not Vedas? Some amount of faith is always required, but most of it is proven and getting proved over the time. See, Heisenberg uncertainty principle. One side we say it's a principle, other side we say it's uncertain. And those are the things we are ready to accept. When it comes to Vedas, why not? This is what has been designed in our head. Whatever West says, believe. Whatever we have, not authentic. We have to come out of all this vicious cycle actually. Science is all full of axioms. Law of thermodynamics. We used to say that, this law of gravity, they exist, or, I still remember in physics, we used to say gaseous laws. And we used to say, but they exist only in some ideal condition which never exist. So many things. So there are 4 sampradayas. Now, when it comes to Vedic knowledge, we need to understand this again, very important, because we get fooled when it comes to scriptures. We start following blindly anybody who talk about God and scriptures. So that is again a foolishness what we do, because there are so many cheaters all around. So how do we know that this person is authentic to speak about scriptures? So this is where this knowledge comes in. The 4 sampradaya, this has been given, again, this is coming from Puranas, that there are 4 sampradayas which can be considered as authentic. One is known as Shri Sampradaya. One is Brahma, Rudra, and Kumara. So Shri Sampradaya starts from Lakshmi Devi. So first the knowledge from Lord has reached Lakshmi Devi, and then she has told to other disciples and disciples and disciples, and then it comes to us. And in Shri Sampradaya, the major or the main Acharya is Ramanujacharya. Ramanujacharya has appeared in Srirangam, place in Tamil Nadu. And he is the one who has actually established the famous Tirupati temple, his disciples. Then we have Brahma Sampradaya, which is started from Lord Brahma, who has got this knowledge from Lord Vishnu, and Brahma given to his son Narada, and then Vyasadeva, then Madhvacharya in Udupi. So Madhvacharya is considered as the most prominent Acharya of Brahma Sampradaya. Okay, the question is, which God should I pray? We'll come to it later. Just remember this question. Okay, so we have Madhvacharya, who is a prominent Acharya of Brahma Sampradaya. Then we have Rudra Sampradaya, which starts from Lord Shiva, and Vishnu Swami is a prominent Acharya, and Kumar Sampradaya, where Nimbarka Swami is the prominent Acharya. So these 4 are prominent, authentic sampradayas, the school of knowledge, Vedic school of knowledge, as per Puranas. It's not that somebody has created it. This is coming from Puranas. So what knowledge we are giving right now, this is coming from Brahma Sampradaya, because the spiritual master of His Grace Radhesham Das Prabhu, who is actually the author of all these slides, his spiritual master is a disciple of Srila Prabhupada, who is coming from this Madhva Sampradaya, Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So it is told in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, Tene Brahmaridaya Adi Kavaye Muyanti Yat Surayaha. They say Janmadhyasya Yadon Madavid. So this knowledge is coming in the heart. It has been given by Supreme Person and revealed to Lord Brahma in his heart. So the Vedic wisdom came down in disciplic succession through a chain of gurus from beginning of creation.
We haven't got to manufacture something. We simply repeat the words and the instruction given by the predecessor. Krishna instructed Brahma, Brahma instructed Narad, Narad instructed Vyasadeva, Vyasadeva instructed Madhyacharya, and in this way, then Madhavendra Puri, Ishwar Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then the 6 Goswamis, then the Srinivasa Acharya, Kaviraj Goswami, Narottam Das Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Jagannath Das Babaji, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, and then we are doing the same thing. There is no difference. That is the specific procedure of the Krishna consciousness movement.
Yeah, so the importance of coming under this sampradaya is that you don't manufacture your own things. That's what is being highlighted here, because as soon as we start manufacturing our own things, the knowledge starts deviating. So the basics should stay same. That is the speciality of Vedas, because they have been coming from a perfect person, the original creator. And so we can use some contemporary examples. Uh, we can use different ways to make them understand as per current time, place, and circumstance, but we cannot change the substance of it. And that's why it's important to come into parampara, because anytime we deviate from this, there are always chances that we add our own things, because now there is nobody to monitor. When we are in parampara, there is always somebody to monitor and refer to, because previous acharyas have written things. But if you go out and if you see that there is some spiritual trainer, but they don't have a guru or the parampara, then there always chance that some deviation can happen, and that can harm us later, or that can put us into a volatile situation where we can be cheated. So see, 500 years ago, Vyasdev, he was literally incarnation of Lord, and he recorded the Vedas in writing for the benefit of people in Kali Yuga. So Vedic knowledge has been divided into many things. I will not go into detail of this because we need to go in today's class, but we can take it a little later. But just for your sake, an overview, Vedic knowledge have been divided into two major parts. One is Shruti, which is known as the revealed absolute truth, where every word is unchanged and eternal. So that is Shruti. Okay. And Smriti means, so Shruti is generally spoken by the Supreme Lord directly. And Smriti has been written in disciplic succession by other teachers or spiritual masters from what they have got from their spiritual master, and it is completely based on Shruti of the Vedic nature. So the wordings may change here and there, but the substance is same because it is coming under the succession. So like Vedas, Upavedas, like Ayurveda, Vedanga, they are all coming in Shruti. Whereas the Puranas, the Itihas, the Dharma Shastras, they're all, or Tantras, they're all coming into Smritis. Okay. And then this Upanishads and all, they all come under Shruti, and Puranas come under Smriti. And now when it comes to Bhagavad Gita is considered both Shruti and Smriti because it is directly spoken by Lord as well, and it's part of Mahabharata, which is considered as Itihasa. So that's why it is both Shruti and Smriti. So Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of Krishna consciousness movement, used to say that our teachings are authoritative, pure, and safe to accept because they are based. Okay, this is written by the author of these slides, that because this is based on the teachings of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the pure devotee of Lord Krishna, coming in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So that's why we can claim that, okay, this knowledge, what we are trying to give you is safe and authentic. So this is one example we saw yesterday, and then we tried to find out what is the best way of gaining knowledge here. Oh, let a person who has seen come out. Somebody answered it yesterday, but yeah. So he can tell the full truth, where others are only talking about half knowledge or partial truth. So this is what we saw yesterday. The ways of gaining knowledge. Pratyaksh Praman, what is the problem? Anuman Praman, what is the problem? And Shabda Praman. And then we saw today about the three types of knowledge. So now I'll go to the next topic, which is today's topic. And meanwhile, if anyone has any questions or comments or something you want to ask, you are most welcome. We can just wait for half a minute for you to type your questions in the chat box. So today we are going to talk about full stop solutions. So there are patch up solutions and there are full stop solutions. Like science, current day science is giving patch up solutions. We should also understand that whenever I'm talking to science is known as Vijnana, and Vijnana actually should be perfect in itself. But the current day things or the solutions, we are trying to go to the root, but what is coming out is becoming only patch up solutions because we are not based on the Vedic scriptures, which are the most authentic way of getting knowledge. So let's see what modern science offered us. The stopgap solution. What do you mean by stopgap is it is just a kind of a short-term solution to fill the gap right now, but there is not much of solutions for future. So it's not a sustainable solution. So it's not stopgap solutions. So it can give us some relief, but it cannot put full stop to the problems. Whereas Vedic wisdom actually gives us perfect spiritual solutions, which can put the full stop to problems of life. For example, we have a lot of problem based on our bodily features. It's a lot of racism, a lot of wars. But Vedic scripture like Bhagavad Gita give us knowledge of soul. And once you realize this soul knowledge, it's a full stop to all these problems. Because you are not the body. So there's no point fighting on the vessel of the body. So these kind of solutions are full stop solutions. Yes. So that is coming from Vedic scriptures. Now, if we have to put a full stop, we need to know what are the real problems of life, what are temporary solutions, and what are permanent solutions. So let's say what are the real problems of life. So now, if you ask somebody what are the real problems of life, let's ask you, what do you think are the real problems of life? You are open to type in the chat box. What do you think are the real problems of life? Exams, Harivardhan. I hope you you don't exams immediately after this. But yeah, okay, exams. What else? Trust, Sanket. Yes, trust is a problem. Or breaking of trust is a problem. Okay, what else? What else do you think is a big problem in life? So say exams, trust, life. Life itself is a problem. New research is a problem. Money is a problem. Yes. Laziness is a problem. Okay, yes, good. But let's say why we are telling it as a real problem. See, there are some definitions or criteria to put some problem as a real problem. See, when you ask somebody, we say all this. What you told, no physique, no job, family, money, appearance, girlfriend. But are these real problems? Why are we asking this question is because you may feel it's a problem for you, but there are other people for them, this is not a problem. So then we cannot put it under the category of real problem because real problem should meet these three criteria. Okay. First is it should be common to all. So whatever you told right now, it's not common to all because some people may have those things, some people do not have. So it's not common to all. Second is even if you don't want, it comes. So real problem is a problem. Even if you don't want, the problem comes to you. So that's why you cannot tell it as a real problem. And then what is the third criteria? You cannot avoid it. You have to face them. Now, how you face them, to what category you face them, and how strongly you face them, that can be different, but everybody has to face. So this is the three criteria to be fulfilled to tell a problem as a real problem. So now I want to ask the question again. Now, do you want to revise your answers and tell what do you think are the real problems of life which can satisfy these three criteria? Yes. Yes, what do you say, Panchdeep? Laziness? No, there may be some people who are very active over every time. So it's not common to everybody. The people who are always active, they don't feel laziness is a problem for them. There are army men who are always active. Yes, Panchdeep, Harivardhan, Sachin, all of your answers. Then there's nothing called problem. No, there are still problems which are common to people. See, we human don't even realize that we have problem. Material world is a problem. There are people who enjoy material world. They like to be in material world because they're enjoying, they have money, they have villas, they have bungalows, they enjoy material world. Illness, Panchadeep is telling illness. Yes, that's one of them. Illness, disease. It's common to all. Nobody wants it, but nobody can avoid it. So yes, illness is one thing. Very good. Who founded Panchadeep? Yes, very good. What else? Oh, sorry, Dhananjay, I didn't see. Death. Okay, death is a problem. Yes, everyone has to face it. Even though nobody wants, everyone has to face death. And it's common. Yes. So death is a problem. It's a boon. Okay. What else? What else are the problems? So we came with disease, we came death, bad feeling. Some people are able to, they don't get this bad feeling. Sadness, misery, okay. Overthinking. Okay, but again, it is not common because there are people who are always very realistic, especially the sages, the self-realized souls. They don't do this overthinking. They're always into meditation, etc. Obstacles, yeah, but what are the obstacles which can be a problem? Even the sages who are always into self-realization, they also feel that. So death, as you said, is common. Diseases are common. What else? What else? What else? Okay, so let me tell you the answers. Continuous failure. No, Sinchan. It's not common with everybody. There are people who continuously get success. It's not common. Birth. Now you may be perplexed. Birth, is it a problem? Everyone celebrates birth. Birth is a problem. Let's see how. Okay, old age. Budhapa, old age, everyone has to face, and it's a problem because you get so many diseases, you become dependent on people, you cannot be as good and active as you were before. So old age, disease as one of you mentioned, and death as one of you mentioned. So it's told in scriptures, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanudarshanam. This is coming in Bhagavad Gita. So let's first realize why birth is a problem. So it's told in 13th chapter 8 to 12 verse that one who can perceive these birth, death, old age, disease, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha. This is coming in 13th chapter 8 verse. That one who can perceive them as problem is in knowledge. So let's see why birth is a problem. Nowadays, most are not reaching the old age. Yes. But nowadays, even young people are getting older very fast. So you don't need to reach the old age. You're already getting old. I already have white hairs, gray hairs. I already have specs. My eyes are weak. So Shankaracharya used to say this. There are three symptoms of becoming old. One is the graying of hairs. One is the eyesight becoming weak, and once the teeth breaking. And I think now even in young age, most of us have these three. At least I have these three. So even in young age now we're becoming old. So let me first ask you again, why do you think they have put birth as a problem? Anyone has any idea why birth is considered as a problem? Is birth, the process of birth involves a lot of miseries, or because everyone enjoys a new soul has come, we celebrate, people do a lot of donations considering it as auspicious, then why birth is a problem as per our scriptures? Any guesswork? Because women suffers pain because of us. Okay, this is one way of thinking, the women, because so somebody else is suffering pain. But what about us, the person who is taking birth? What about him? Because the problem is with him. With birth comes suffering. Over the time, everybody becomes a philosopher. With birth comes suffering, and one person's life itself is a problem. Anyways, we hope that after hearing such seminars regularly, your way or criteria may change. So let's see this video, and you will realize why birth is a problem. See, imagine that you have been put in a cage for 9 months, okay, where you may feel hungry, you may feel thirsty, but you are not allowed to move, you are not allowed to eat. And what can you eat? So you have mouth is developing, but you cannot eat through mouth, you have to eat from the cord. And whatever mother eats only comes to you. Even if mother eats something pungent, spicy, that spicy food comes to you, but your tummy cannot manage, so you suffer. And you are not allowed to go out, and slowly you increase in size, and slowly you have to bend and stay because you are not able to move properly. So, and like that you have to stay for 9 months. In one room we cannot stay for 9 minutes if there is no light, and such a thing is there. And the baby has to drink his own stool and urine. That's what he keeps drinking. And that's what keeps making him dirty. So such a condition, we have to stay for 9 months. This is given in scriptures. We are not that conscious that time to understand. But such things are there. Now our technology is anyways bringing these things out. So when a person says that after 5-6 months, a mother start feeling the kick of the child, because at that time the child start feeling suffocated and he's trying to come out. And that's why he's kicking the mother again and again and again. So for 9 months, the human fetus is like cramped within the darkness of the womb, scorched by mother's gastric fire, jolted by sudden movements in congested womb, and hungry worms inside the abdominal cavity torment the child, and child pass stools and urine in the same pocket. So this is what happens, and this is what has been substantiated by ultrasound and other things, that this is how the process happens. So this birth itself is a problem. We don't realize it, but birth is a problem because you have to go through all those pains. And it is told that the amount of pain which mother feels, the child feels double, at least the double of that pain when the childbirth happens. Because you have to come from such a small thing, and then the head comes out and the body has to be pulled, and suddenly the child starts feeling suffocated because inside there was no need of air. Now he has to take air from outside. So child starts crying, the lung has to get cleared, and then only the birth, the air will come in. So it's like a challenge for the child to come out and breathe. So his whole process is very painful actually. And the old age, nobody wants to get old, but see, even celebrities have to get old. Even if you want to remain, soon we start growing old, we can frail, but nobody wants. That's why all the cosmetic industry is flourishing. Then comes disease. Is disease a problem? That we all realize? Disease we don't want. We all want to be healthy. And death, yes. So what is told, I don't know whether you have realized, but a lot of times when somebody dies at home, this is the Garud Puran is being heard and read. So in Garud Puran, it is told that when the hour of death approaches, then by chance a certain disease raises up. The organs grow weak, troubles start showing their powers. And if all of a sudden millions of scorpions have stung the person. So it is told in scriptures that when the soul is taken away from body, it is like 40,000 scorpions biting simultaneously. And you will only realize if anybody stays in village and ever got or seen a scorpion bite, you realize how much one scorpion bite is. And 40,000 scorpions biting simultaneously, that's the pain when the soul is taken away from the body. That's why death is a problem. In that disease condition, the dying person's eye bulge due to air, his glands become congested, his difficulty in breathing, and he dies pathetically. And I'm telling you, as a doctor, we have seen people dying, and most of this is true. So apart from these problems, there are three more kind of miseries, threefold miseries, what we all experience. So now again, a quiz time for you. Now you just tell, let's go with first one. You tell me what all troubles you feel by your own mind and body. What type of miseries do you get from your own mind and body? So you can type in the chat box now. So your own mind and body gives you what kind of troubles? Yes. So I think one thing is common, everybody realizes that disease happens. It is given by your own body. What else is given? Procrastination. Okay, this is coming from your mind. Laziness, procrastinating, delaying, postponing. What else comes from your own mind and body? So we are listing because these are the ways generally where how we get troubles. Either through living entities, stress, yes, stress, anxiety, disease, all that is coming through our own mind and body. And what comes from other living entities? What kind of troubles are given by other living entities, by humans, by animals, by plants? What type of trouble comes from other living entities? Pressure, fear of doing new things. I'm telling you, Sanket, Arivardhan, you please continue to join these classes. We can contact you later personally and help you to come out of all these things. This shows a kind of less self-confidence, but reading scriptures will always give you that confidence because you are connecting to yourself. These kind of courses, Discover Yourself, will help you to gain the real strength, what you have understanding that and coming out of all these problems. So stay connected. Yeah. So what are the problems come from other living entities? Okay, now time is getting over. So I'll tell you first. So, things like diseases, some insect bite happens and you get disease, some animal bite happens, you get disease, and other living entities, they start troubling you sometimes. And then from natural disasters. So headache, stress, depression, body pain, suicidal thoughts, all this illness comes from your own body, mind. Living entities, insect bites, arguments, diseases, from natural disasters, tsunami, earthquake, floods, etc. A lot of people are still struggling in north because of floods going on. So these are known as kleshas, klesh, which gives you trouble. So there are adhyatmic, which comes from your own body and mind, adhibhautik, which comes from other living entities, and adi daivik. Please remember these three terms: adhyatmic, adi atmic. Atmic means from my own body mind. Bhautik, adi bhautik means other bhautik people, the other living entities. And adi daivik, daivik means natural, daiva, natural disasters. So adhyatmic kleshas are like, miseries of body and mind. And they are now becoming very common, especially the teen suicide rates. It has tripled in last 25 years. Academic pressure, lack of family support, stress, these are all causes, but these are all the type of difficulties or adversities or kleshas or miseries what we get. And then we have miseries out of other living entities like insects bite, terrorism, robbery, stealing, so many, theft, cheating, etc. And then adhidaivik, natural disasters. Okay, so see, so many type of adhidaivik kleshas, natural disasters, which keeps coming, and we have to face all that. So these are the three type of miseries which comes. So we saw four types of problems and three types of miseries, but now we need solutions. These are the problems in life, but we need solutions. But what the science, medicine, technology, what type of solutions come from them? See, we are advanced in medical knowledge. As a doctor, I can tell you there's so many types of treatments and so many advancements. We can do surgeries with minimal invasive techniques. People sitting at one place can do surgeries at other places. We have so many advanced technologies coming in. Yes, the life is becoming better, but so many diseases are also coming because stopgap solutions. He is Muhammad Ali. He used to consider himself that I am the greatest. Okay, nobody was able to stand in front of him when he was in that time. But later he suffered from something known as Parkinson's, and he was not even able to drink a cup of coffee. That was the situation he reached, and later he died out of that disease. So why do even such great personalities suffer from problems? Painkillers. So these things are not taking us to a full stop solution to suffering. This is okay. Painkillers you take, as long as the effect is there, fine, pain is reduced, you'll come back again. So what is a full stop measure? Martin Luther King used to say, we can fly like bird, we can swim like a fish in a submarine, but walking on the road is becoming difficult because of pollution. See, in Mangalore, you have seen the mountain of, if you go through Pachanadi, you will see the mountains of all this there. So this is a mountain of tires. And then see, we invented bombs, which can break things, but nobody can create life. So see, temporary solutions. You have old age, you have white hair, make it black. You have wrinkles, old age, use a facelift. You have disease, back pain, use painkillers. Breathlessness and death, use oxygen tube. But these are all superficial. They are not solving the problem as such. They are giving a temporary solution for time being. That's why they are stopgap solutions. The reality is soon going to come out, and that's what happening. That's why people are fighting with each other, because the reality is coming. So we have to understand that science and technology are good. We need stopgap solutions also, but they have their limitations. They cannot stop old age. So why to spend so much money when you cannot stop, because scriptures are telling that this is going to happen to everybody. Instead, spend life in making this life better and making your next life better, instead of stopping life and old age, because everybody is going to get it. So luxuries and comforts offered by science and technology cannot satisfy the soul. For example, this fish. See, fish, if it's coming out of the water, no matter whatever you give to that fish, you will not be happy. Anything of this world you give. Similarly, because we are out of our real place, whatever we get here, it's not giving us happiness. Though happiness is the nature of soul. Satchit Ananda is the nature of soul. Soul likes eternality. Satchit Ananda. Soul life bliss. This is the nature of the soul, but we are not getting it here. Though we are trying to increase the life of everything what we use, but we are not getting that happiness out of it. Though even though it lasts longer, it is not giving us happiness because we are not at the right place. So this is a logical way of thinking. So because we belong to another world where the nature belongs to, we all like happiness to always last. And that's our natural tendency. And that is because That is because we have come from a place where happiness is always there and there are no miseries. That's why we are trying to eradicate miseries here. So this tendency is coming because we belong to that place. And this is coming from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says this in 15th chapter. Yat gatvan anivartante tad dhama parmam mama na tad basayate suryana shashanko na pava. There you don't need any external light. It's self-illuminated place. There are no miseries there. And once you go, you don't come back. Okay. So let's stop here, and tomorrow we'll go ahead with this. And very important thing is going to come, and that's the law of karma. This is going to come in tomorrow's class, and so many questions will get solved here. Law of karma. So there's another thing what we saw, the train journey. We all realize that people are leaving us every day, but we don't think, I think I will stay forever. So there is a question which is coming from Mahabharata, where Yudhishthir Maharaj was asked these questions by Yaksha, and one of the question was Ahani Ahani Bhutani. So he asked, what is the most amazing thing of this word? And then Yudhishthir Maharaj answers that Ahani Ahani Bhutani Gachanti Amalem. Everyone is looking and seeing that hundreds and hundreds of living entities are meeting death, but still everyone thinks maybe I will stay. I may stay, I may not die. So that's a foolishness. And that's why we indulge in sinful activities. We think I'm going to stay forever and there is no life after this. And that's why whatever I do in this life is just going to stay here. So let me do whatever I want. So this kind of half knowledge is pushing people into doing wrong activities. That's why if we have proper knowledge of scriptures, it will save us from doing so many wrong things in this world, and people, the environment of this world can improve. This goat, he knows that they are going to kill him, but still he is happy eating the grass. So this is our condition. We know our fathers, our forefathers have died, our grandfather or great grandfather have died. We may also face the same, but we are not ready for it. We don't realize it. So tomorrow we'll look into that permanent solution, what the Vedic wisdom says, as well as the law of karmas, which is again an important topic. And then we go to the next class. So I was told that we have to complete at 7:15. So it's the time now. Anyone has any questions or comments from today's class, you are most welcome to ask now. And then there are some questions or quiz related to the class. And if that has to be, you can answer that today. Or it will be again, some of it will be like a pre-test, because some things from today's class will be taken in the next class. So you can choose to answer today, or you can get some questions and then you will get the answer in the next class. So we'll give you option again to solve the quiz, because the link will be posted in the group as well. So if there are no questions, then we'll close it for today. We'll just wait for half a minute. Thank you, Panchadeep, for attending. Thank you, Harivardhan. Thank you, all of you, for such relevant questions during the class. And if you are not coming up, or if you cannot think of a question now, you can always go back. And you can always, if you can still get a question, you can ask in the WhatsApp group, and we will be sharing the videos as well as the slides of these classes with you for your future knowledge as well. So thank you very much for joining today. Have a good day. Have a good sleepy night. Have a good weekend. Complete your works on time. Finish your weekend duties. And then we'll meet again tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Until then, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I have posted the link for the quiz in the chat. I'll also be posting it in the WhatsApp group.